welcome back to Games of War. Today's episode is the greatest game of all time. What a bold statement. And for those that are waiting for the Xbox Buyer's Guide, I recently once again got hit with some minor setbacks, some minor internet issues, but we're back on. Thank you to all of you that have stuck by, been patient. Thank you for all helping out on Patreon, commenting, watching, everything. I really appreciate it, guys. No more holdups, back going, and the Xbox Buyer's Guide is nearing completion. A pretty epic episode. But I got something I want to sneak in here real quick before we unleash that beast. The greatest game of all time. Man, I've heard that statement quite a bit recently with the release of a few key games. And I gotta say, I really have a hard time with that statement because the best, what is the best? What I think is the best, you might think is complete shit. And what others might think is the best. It's such a subjective statement. However, you cannot deny the greatness and epicness of games when they hit. And the review scores do play a factor into that, generating that overall buzz. But before we get started on the games, the deal of the day, I often check Amazon and just see, what's going for what's dropped, what's gone up or whatever. And I was browsing through some games and a title caught my eye. ReCore on the Xbox One. Now this is a game that caught my attention when they announced it first off. It was done by the Metroid Prime guys and KJ Inafune. Now the Xbox One isn't kind of overflowing with original exclusive games like the PS4 is, so I had my eye on this one. I didn't pick it up when it came out for whatever reason. It kind of got lost in the shuffle, and I noticed it had a collector's edition that was going for $200 was the standard retail price when it came out. In browsing last week, I came across this beast, $44. That is right, $44 on Amazon. I had Prime, so I got 2 free day shipping. And I gotta say, for $44, this is a freaking steal. Just to show you how massive this box is, this is a DS case, or a DS case holder, 3DS holder, but there's a size comparison for you. And this comes with some pretty epic stuff that it comes with. And I was really impressed by just the quality and overall detail of it. Once again, for a size comparison, here's a DS case, 3DS case. I mean, this thing is just a massive statue. It's huge. Very well detailed. I love the characters in the game. So I was really pleasantly surprised with this. It comes with a gorgeous steel book, and then it comes with this little decoder. And for $44, you will never hear me complain about something like this. I believe the next day it shot back up to like 80, and there's only 700 of these made, so I don't think the game did very well at all. And the game is actually quite fun. It's a really nice action-adventure game, some light RPG elements, some great gameplay mechanics. I urge everyone that is starved for Xbox One content, exclusive content, check out ReCore. And if you can snag one of these up, if it goes back down, dips back down to that great price, definitely don't hesitate to pick this one up. It's great. On to the greatest game of all time aspect. Like many gamers across the world, I picked up a Nintendo Switch at launch. And this wasn't something that I had planned out. I knew I wanted the console. I just knew that the launch lineup didn't really offer anything outside of Zelda. There wasn't anything I had to have immediately. I was always going to get it, but I was going to wait for some more games to be out. So I made myself a promise because I have such a hard time when it gets down to that crunch time and the console's launching and everybody's hyping it up. I said to myself, I'm going to go into Meijer at 1 o'clock in the morning. If they have one on launch night still available and there's no line, I'll pick it up. If not, I'll go home and I'll wait it out, no big deal. As you can see, Meijer had a couple left. I walked out with the Switch and Breath of the Wild. And this is a fine return to form for Nintendo. One of the highest reviewed games of all time, if not the highest. I haven't checked to see if any dickheads gave it a 6 or anything like that. But I knew something was up because the recent batch of Nintendo games were very disappointing. I can't put it any other way. Starting off with the Chibi Robo on the 3DS, followed up by Animal Crossing, Amiibo Festival, the Mario sports game that was on the Wii U, and even Star Fox. I just found it to be very, very average, and that's very uncharacteristic for Nintendo. Number one, they don't have a whole lot of third-party support, so the games they do release, while not overabundance in quantity, make up for it in quality. And when that started to dip, I started to get worried, but I said, you know what, they got their A teams working on the Switch and Switch launch games, and Breath of the Wild has been setting the review world on fire. Now, I had the unfortunate circumstance of picking this up. I brought it home and played it a little bit on launch night, and I had to work the next day, and my son Zach was over. I got home from work, and he was about 8 hours into this already, and once that happens, I tune out. I can't sit there and watch him play it and miss parts of it, so I'm going to play this at a later date. I let him go to town, but what I did was start up a new game of my own. That game was none other than Horizon Zero Dawn, and holy shit, it's the best looking game I've ever seen. Hands down, no questions asked. The environments in this game could be a postcard everywhere you turn. You have got dry deserts, you've got thick, dense forests. The day and night cycle is amazing. Seeing the moon and the moonlight creeping through the trees and creating a shadowy effect over the grass, and everything swaying in the breeze. And I was genuinely surprised to see just how much depth goes into the combat and the situations with these machines. One of the coolest weapons, hands down, I've ever seen in any game is the rope gun in Horizon, where you can kind of fire ropes at these machines and tie them down. You know, if you land enough shots, 3-4 ropes ties them down. At that point, you can run up and critical strike them. You can craft fire arrows and kind of shoot them over and over again and catch them on fire so that they're burning. You can use these explosive tipped arrows to kind of shoot them and explode chunks of their armor and protective armor off of these machines. Very strategic, very rewardable. There's side missions. The overall story, as I said, is amazing. This game could last you as long as you want if you really want to take your time, unlock some of the amazing outfits, uncover some of the secrets. Every area of the land is rife for exploring. Beautiful waterfalls, streams. The hunting mechanic is amazing, crafting different outfits and all of your different potions. Enough good things cannot be said about Horizon Zero Dawn. I'm so happy that I snagged up the collector's edition. It comes up with this really nice steelbook. It comes with a nice art book, a really cool statue of Aloy, very nicely detailed. And then I fell in love with the machine design so much, and one particular enemy in Thunderjaw. Holy shit, these one of the monster machines that you're fighting through the game, that I had to pick up every bit of merch available for this game, because it's just one of those games where right when you start playing it, right away you know it's going to be something special, and something just resonated within me with Horizon Zero Dawn. Everything just clicked right away, and I knew that I would love this game, and I am so happy that I decided to media blackout. Everything was fresh, and I just cannot say enough good things about this generation of gaming, man. They are stepping it up in every way. Another release that completely floored me, and this is really oddly surprising in a very good way. For me personally, I go a far ways back with Nier, starting off with the original Drakengard games. Now, these were quietly released on the PS2, and no one gave a shit. They got pretty mediocre reviews. They complained about the combat, they complained about the music, they complained about the gameplay. Everything was panned on these games. I don't even think these reviewers played these games in full, because the magic in the Drakengard games comes from the storylines and the multiple endings, and taking your time and going through them and experiencing the story as a whole. Are they going to win any awards for gameplay? Probably not. I mean, I enjoyed them for what they were, a ground kind of take on Dynasty Warriors mixed with a little bit of Lair, where there's dragon riding, and it's just they're very repetitive. The second one helps alleviate some of that, but the first one was very repetitive. There was different weapons you could get and adding different combos, but overall I fell in love with the story and the overall absurdity and seriousness and dark tone. I really liked the story. So Drakengard had a fan in me. Fast forward a few years, a game quietly came out named Nier. And what started off as a joke, I mean, this game got ripped to shreds as well. The character was named like the ugliest character ever in a video game, and it bombed. Nobody gave a shit about Nier, nobody praised it. But those that did, and those that really paid attention to what the hell was going on, and when I read up, personally, when I found out that Nier was going to be picking up on one of the alternate endings in Drakengard and continue the story, I was all in no matter what. I didn't give a shit what anybody said. And what I found in this game was one of those rare gems that combines so many different gameplay styles, and it just worked for me. On top of having one of the most amazing soundtracks ever in any video game, this game also just clicked with me. I fell in love with this kind of just bleak atmosphere, its tone that it sets with the music and the world, and somber, depressing tone almost. Mixed with the book, who's got the most foul mouth in the world, the book and the character going back and forth in Nier are just, it's something very special. And I couldn't get enough of this game. And it's just like Drakengard, where Once you beat it once, the game is just beginning because it changes up the second way through. Multiple playthroughs are encouraged for all three of the Nier, Drakengard 1 and 2. For all of the bad reviews and initial disappointment with Nier, something happened over time. It built up a loyal fan base. People had played the game, given it a chance, and discovered what greatness the game provided, and caused them to go back and look at Drakengard 1 and 2. And overall, series awareness just rose. It became a real cult hit, if you will. And that, I think, is directly led to us getting Drakengard 3 over here. And I had to get the collector's edition, and this game delivered on all fronts. Once again, a critical disappointment. They just don't get it. I think a reviewer under a tight deadline and looking for innovation and the next level or whatever the hell they're looking for just missed the point, man. This is a beautiful limited edition. It comes with a very nice poster, a beautiful novel to read. It takes you even further into the storyline. Probably the most violent game in this series, hands down. The blood level in this and the amount of swearing and viciousness and backstabbing and cutthroat mentalities on full display in this. I really got a chuckle out of these sisters and the way they spoke to each other and the bluntness of the script and just brutal violence, blood everywhere, and swearing, and just talking to characters like complete shit. I mean, this will get a smile on your face if you're into this type of thing. I was really happy to see Drakengard continue. Drakengard 3 is just amazing. Absolutely love the game. So I gotta say, this is definitely a game that deserves to be played. If you're into hack and slash games with a strong focus on story, this one seems to be the most kind of big budget feel to it as far as Nier goes. And I use that term subjective to the series. But mankind has gone to the moon to escape this kind of ravaged Earth and machines that are living on Earth. And the combat seems really refined, and it's got that same kind of atmosphere, same soundtrack, composer returns. So I'm so happy that this got made, and I cannot wait to play through this multiple times. I'm finishing up with Horizon. This is the game I jump into next. I've actually put about, the night I brought this home, I think I put 4 hours into it, and I just loved the direction they were going in. I'm so happy to see a series like this continue, because it's definitely far off from the mainstream, from the norm, and the PlayStation 4 is giving a home to stuff that I never thought I would see, and I can't be happier. So in browsing some new releases and games that were coming out in the future on Amazon the other day, once again, mind is just blown. I saw a listing for Siberia 3 coming to PlayStation 4, man, and man, some of you that haven't played Siberia, like on the original Xbox, these are some of the most gorgeous pre-rendered like adventure games. And when I say like pre-rendered, so like the camera's static, but it allows to focus on detail like no other. These are like photorealistic visuals, and I absolutely loved Kate Walker and these puzzle solving through these environments. And man, these are the reason I fell in love with these kind of like static adventure games, puzzle solving, and almost like visual novels, but not visual novels in a sense, but they are amazing games. And I just could not believe that we're getting a third entry on the PS4. I cannot wait to see those 4K photorealistic static backgrounds and the adventures of Kate Walker continue. Siberia 3 is something that is definitely on my day one buy list. I also saw that we're getting physical versions of Outlast, man. We're getting a collection of all the Outlast games on one disc. That is just amazing. I absolutely love the Outlast games, the first-person camera survival horror games that were genuinely pretty scary. All of them on one disc, physical on the PS4. That is awesome. Now, for those of you that dig Nier, or you like Drakengard, you like those kind of games, I've got one for you here. This is Anima, Gate of Memories. Now, don't think of this as anywhere near AAA quality games or expecting something, you know, mainstream. This is like a PS2 game on PS4. But what it does offer, and I don't mean that in a bad way, I'm just talking in terms of visuals and mechanics, it's not going to blow your mind. It's not going to be current. It's just a really cool, it's just got that same atmosphere. The graphics aren't the focus, which they never should be. I mean, if you're basing your game solely around graphics, you're in trouble right away. But Anima is kind of like Nier light, if you will. It's a really solid hack and slash game with a very dark story, switchable, playable characters on the fly, really cool combos, some great voice acting. I was really happy to see an English dub in this, and it's done well. I'm really getting tired of just strictly Japanese tracks only. I know some of people prefer that, like purists, and they prefer the Japanese, but I'm one of those people that likes to understand and connect with those lines delivered through passion, and a language I can understand is preferable. Definitely. So if you're looking for a hack and slash game, this is like I think $39 on Amazon, and you get a really nice special edition with an art book, a lithograph, some really cool tarot cards that I actually framed up and put on the wall. I liked so much, and it's just it's in that same style, that hack and slash with that dark tone, enjoyable combat. I really do like Anima Gated Memories. I think it's a good title. Once again, completely shit on reviews. It's got a pretty low review score, but I actually really enjoy it. Valkyria Chronicles. I was really surprised to see we're getting a new Valkyria game, and it kind of abandons the strategy RPG roots for a more action, almost like Dynasty Warriors-ish kind of battle system hack and slash. Man, I'm just happy we're getting another game in this series. I don't care what kind of gameplay it is. Very similar to Shining Force. You know, Shining Force abandoned their strategy roots and gave us Shining Tears and Shining Force EXA and Shining Force Neo on the PS2. And you know, while I would have preferred a strategy game, I'll take whatever I can get, man. And I'm really looking forward to seeing the new one closer upon release. I hope all my fellow visual novel fans have done your part by picking up the Nonary games containing the 999 remaster, this time fully voice acted. And the most important part for me, it has a flowchart added so you can keep track of the paths you took throughout the game, because anybody that's played 999 knows that different decisions lead you on a different path, and it was really hard in the DS original to keep track of which path you took and leading to the true ending. So this fixes that, and the voice cast does a superb job. It really changes the game for me. 999 is one of the best visual novels ever, and this is a very nice package to have the first two games in the series on one cart here on the Vita. It's also available on PS4, along with the Danganronpa 1 and 2 Reload. Man, PS4, Vita, killing it. No contest, man. By far my favorite consoles on the market. I am really connecting with this generation now more than ever, and which leads me to the newest one, and it's a big one. After what seems like an eternity of waiting for this game, today Atlas unleashed upon us Persona 5. Man, this is the Take Your Heart Premium Edition. Persona, once again, is going to be taking over my life. And this one, once again, game rankings, I think this is at a 94% average, man. These games are just getting so critically praised. It's so good to see Horizon getting the kind of reviews. Were just the ultimate praise. Breath of the Wild, so strong. Persona, right up there. Games are really coming into their own, and I could not be happier that Persona 5 is here. This is going to steal my life away. I cannot wait to do a more in-depth look at this. I'm going to do a review on this when I finish it, because I absolutely fell in love with Persona 4 the Golden on the Vita. Loved that upgrade. But this comes with the absolutely gorgeous steelbook, man. I'm such a huge fan of the look of this steelbook. It looks great. Really nice premium box here that opens up and gives you a beautiful art book, a soundtrack, a plush from the game. The art looks fantastic. Persona is just a phenomenal RPG series. I love the social links and I'm not one that's a big fan of school settings. You know, I really prefer a more medieval, or a fantasy-based RPG. But this is the exception. Persona just does it right, and the murder mystery stories and going into alternate worlds just does it for me. So excited to give this a go. I cannot wait to jump into this game. Man, it is tough to be a gamer today because you have just got so many amazing choices. I just pre-ordered last week that brand new Fire Emblem on the 3DS. That, man, you had to be quick for that one. That special edition sold out within like minutes, it seemed. Keeping up with the limited run games. There is just amazing games coming out in every direction, especially if you're a PlayStation owner or a Vita owner. I'm excited for the Switch to kind of take off and start getting into its own, because I do like the system. There's a few things that keep it held back. I don't think it's going to be Nintendo's savior, unfortunately. But it's a great system. I like the handheld aspect. The battery life could be better, but the screen is gorgeous. I like the Joy-Con ideas and everything. I think it's a fine system. It's thank God it abandons the Wii name. I thought was the stupidest idea ever. But overall, man, what an amazing time to be a gamer. I hope you guys are enjoying yourselves. We will see you soon with the Xbox Buyer's Guide. It's a monster. Hope it helps out. Thank you guys for sticking by. Games of War is absolutely nothing without you.